All right, I did a video about the UK freaking me out, so much so that I left. And it got a lot of comments, interaction, and it was really interesting because I've done lots of videos and no one watches them. And suddenly this one seemed to hit like an accord with people. So it then got me thinking, because we all want to blame our politicians, even me. And so I had this long think, and I've realized something, and it might spark outrage in you, but bear with me, and I'm going to show you what I mean. My idea is, it is not their fault. Now, just work with me through this. You're on an island. You've been put on an island with your family, with a bunch of other families, right? And you do the fishing. Another family does the woodwork to build shelter. Another family does the vegetables. Another family does does the medicine. Okay, and you all trade your goods around between each other. Wood for fish, fish for veg, so on. We all agree that that's a good island, right? Now, at some point, you get tired of walking from the coast to the vegetable patch. So the islanders agree that they need a road. So they say, well, someone from one of these families needs to be responsible for the road, for the transport network. So, okay, well, the transport road family need to be paid. So you all agree that you'll give that guy some money. Let's call it tax. Now that guy built his road. You then go, oh, well, we'd actually all like to be on water. Well, so again, you all agree that you need to pay someone to provide water. And then you agree that your island is starting to take shape, and you're worried that other people will come and raid your vegetable patch. So you ask another family to provide security. And again, they need to be paid for this. So you swap your goods for their security and their water and their roads and so on. Do you see how this is developing? And before you know it, you have a functioning society like we live in today. Now, bear with me. You're like, what is this guy going on about? Get to the point. Right. So as you get wealthier, as each family makes more, they then start exporting it. So you have your businesses, right? And you have each family doing so well. And depending on how good they are, depends on how rich each family gets from the trade they sell to each other and the trade they export. And then you have that government operation that does the water and the transport and the medical and all the other services, right? And you've already created the system. Now, the problem is that this is my argument. The governor, prime minister, president, whatever title you want to give him, the person, eventually, you'll have someone, you as an island will agree that someone needs to kind of oversee the small operations and potentially do agree the trade. Because, you're busy fishing, or you're busy on the forestry or the vegetable patch, and so you then contribute towards this government. Okay, bear with me. Now, as it gets wealthier, you demand more of your government. You want better schools, better medicine, better roads, better infrastructure, better everything, right? Now, they continue to build departments, bigger and bigger departments, right? That's what you're demanding of them. So their government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Are you with? Yeah, right? This is what we get. Because you're doing better and better, you demand more. And what you want is the government to go, no, you got a school, that's enough. but you want another school. And so they want more money. So more tax money must flow in to pay for it all. And you're demanding more and more from them. And they're doing their best. I have come to the, my argument is that they're doing their best to respond to your wants as a population. They grow and grow, and the civil service gets bigger and bigger because of your demands. One day, make this an arrow. One day, the fisherman hooks his foot, and you then go, well, that's terrible. The fisherman's injured. We need some health and safety. The builder broke his thumb with his hammer. Well, we must have hammer lessons. Someone crashed on the road. Well, we need safety then. We need all cars checked for them being safe on the road. A building, there was an electrical fire. Right, every building must have an electrical safety certificate. Oh, this person couldn't. Right, everyone must take a driving test. Do you see how the burgeoning government transpires? By no fault of anyone. It's just the growth of civilization. And as you get wealthier, you demand more. So in the West, let's call it, Europe, UK, US, the population is incredibly wealthy, and they demand of the government, the fisherman can no longer work. Well, let's help him. Let's give him some money so that when he's better, he can fish again. Suddenly you've got social security, or in the UK, benefits. This person fell off a building, so they need some money. So before you know it, okay, the government does its thing. Okay, yeah, we'll give them money. We'll support the lowest, because they don't earn enough. So let's take it from the really wealthy and give it to the people that earn less. So it's not their fault. It's our demands as a richer country. And I think all we are seeing in Canada, UK, Australia, Europe, is the maturing wealth, the demands it puts on the government. And they're trying their best to answer you. Okay, we'll tax more here, we'll give more there, we'll do more infrastructure, more roads, more departments, AI departments, internet departments, health and safety departments, more regulations because someone broke their toe, more and more. And at some point, this is bigger than this. And I feel that's where we are. The UK, the government GDP is 40% of the UK economy, something like that. I'm clutching at a number that's in my brain. But it's not their fault. We've demanded it. And because they've tried to do their best, they've responded with more departments, more regulation, more safety, more health, more trading standards, more protection for you, the people. I don't, the Starmers, the Camerons, the Bidens, the Obamas, I don't think they're the devil. I think they're inherently good people trying to respond to the demands of the people. And the people represent the forestry, the pharmaceuticals, who are trying to do their best, and the transport are trying to do their best, and so on. So anyway, that's the point. I thought it was their fault. I don't think it's their fault. The problem is they're too good at their job. When you ask something of the government, I want health and safety, I want trading standards, I want employment protection, I want tenancy rights, I want landlord rights, I want all these things. And they respond, they do it. What should have happened, if I could wipe this off, is they should have been terrible at their job. We've put in a road. Unless you really need another one, we're going to disband the transport guy, because one road's enough for our island, right? Or 2 roads or 3 roads, however many roads. We've got a school, we do English and maths. That's enough, right? That would have kept the government small. And potentially what they should do is make it contractual. So every department has a project and then it's disbanded. So the one core group Let's set up the schools, disbanded. Let's do the infrastructure, disbanded. What governments do is remain. Once they've done a project, everyone is stayed. And just think, if you've run a company, you don't want to get rid of people. You don't want to fire people. You want to find them something else to do. It's normal. It's humanity in action. It's what we all demand. We want everyone to have a job, everyone to have meaning. And those that can't, we help them. And so it makes it very hard because we are nice people. It makes it hard to disband government departments, to reduce headcount, to get rid of people, to make them go find something else. I mean, I have the small experience of in a corporate world, when someone's away on holiday, you suddenly realize they're not needed. The job is easily done by someone else. And sometimes at the same time, you lose someone else for whatever reason. And management suddenly realizes that they're not needed. I've done a video about how I call it 10x, that one person is normally 10x. So you can often find that one person can do the job of 10. Once a job has become a process, it can literally be 1/10 because it can be done by someone who can do 10 other jobs at the same time. So all these departments, once set up, should shrink rapidly once they've done their core project, or vanish in entirety. And that's what the system. It's the system that's at fault, not Starmer. And I hate to say it, but it's not his fault. The system doesn't eradicate the waste. The evidence is clear for me. Once your tax rate is over, I think 20%. Once it's over 20%, to me, all that means is this is too big. You must be able to operate a governing body to provide the basic infrastructure. Let's not call it basic. The infrastructure for everyone else within 20% tax revenue. It can't require more. It just can't. There must be waste. So the job, which I don't think exists, is keeping that government shrunk. There's an investment bank that is notorious for every year they get rid of 10% of the workforce, and what it does, it incentivizes those that are there to perform, to work hard. Now, I'm not saying government people don't work hard. They're probably working really hard, but their incentive structure must be wrong, because they never. And it's so hard to get rid of people. It's so difficult. You never want to get rid of someone, for them to find more productive, better work. But it's essential, and that's the system that I'm arguing is at fault, not the politicians that we all love to hate. So what I would love to see is a limit to the size of government as a percentage of revenue of a country. If your GDP is X, right, well, the government only has this amount then your ambitions are aligned. These guys want a bigger GDP because then they are bigger. And so at all points, if you work within a metric, let's call it 20%. So let's say your corporate tax is 20%, your income tax is 20%, your consumption tax is 20%. Let's just say there's a flat 20% on everything. So that, I think that's still too much. But if it's limited to that and they have to work within that, I think that would be a solution. And then strive for 19%, strive for 18%, strive for 17%, be more efficient. Do we need that department? Has that road been built? Yes, right. Well, we don't need that department anymore. Gone. Find productive work in the economy to make the GDP of this country bigger so that we can be bigger and build better projects. I feel like it must be a metric of the revenue of the country. I've looked at the government growth over since 1980, and every year on year, it outpaces inflation. That's where the system fails. And it's not Tony Blair's fault. Well, it's someone's fault for not making this a percentage. But who's going to do that? Who's going to change the system? Which leads us on to the Doge. The US has gone, this is too big. This is wasteful. This is inefficient. It's so funny. Maybe my brain was just playing with the Doge scenario in the States that worked out that it's not the politicians' fault. That they're now trying to cut this. So fine, cut it. But what they must not now do is then reinflate. Or this Doge department, it's another new department. So, another Doge is on. Obviously, they've cut some. But is this now what's required for the West to survive? Because we're not empires. Look, in history, it's scattered with empires that no longer exist. Persian, Roman, Ottoman, Mongolian, Chinese, goes on. Roman, did I say Roman? British. So is it even possible? History would suggest it's not. History would suggest that we've got this huge government department that's sucking in too much for the population to feed it. This is just getting bigger. Do you see how eventually it just takes over? It's just the whole page becomes government, and then you're done. You're done. You're finished. You've had it. And then you get the fall. The fall of the empire happens. So it must be very, very hard what they're doing right now in the States to shrink that government department to make it fit within the revenue model. And I would love to see that case where, let's just call it tax, because we all want on that desert island that we started on for someone to provide water, road, education, medicine. We all want it. It's how big it gets because we demand more, because we get wealthier, because we don't want to hurt our big toe on a building site. As we get wealthier, we demand more. And the way to fix it is to make the government money they have a percentage of your revenue as a country. I just want to touch on, I think 99% of that government element, I believe they're good people. Every now and again, you'll get a bad player. I don't want to name names, but history gives us the names of people that once they have that power, refuse to give it up. And that's not a good situation. But for the most part, when you give a governing body, ignore the fact that people change. They have the same remit, the same responsibilities. That for the most part, they're good people. And yes, there'll be instances of corruption and bribery and megalomania and power, but I don't believe it's the person. I believe it's the system. And my argument is it would just take a small tweak for it to work. What do you think? That's it.